Lower the street side outrigger, making firm contact with the ground. Look for any distortion in the action of the outrigger system. Are there cracking sounds? Repeat the operation on the opposite side. One important note: always leave the outrigger on the ground until the inspection is done. Do not lift crane out of the saddle with outrigger stowed. If you have a knuckle boom crane, see Operator's Manual for special instructions in unfolding and operation. The crane operation test inspection is short but critical to safety. In the fork area, release the safety strap and retainer pin. Next, check speed control from automatic to idle RPM by listening to the variation and engine sounds as RPMs fluctuate between control settings. Now do a simple move with the crane to make sure it is operational. To raise the boom, first raise the inner boom and run extension out to get clearance. You are now clear of the fork housing. Test fork tilt, fork rotation, and crane rotation. Test mass swing brake and be sure all control mechanisms are operating properly, looking for excessive backlash or play in the rotation system. Is there unusual noise or vibration, loss of operating speed? Check control valves for leaks, cracks in housing, and improper return of spools to neutral position. Conduct a holding test to assure proper operation of holding valve. Let the crane sit with boom elevated. It should hold its position. If any boom settling or drifting occurs, it should be taken out of service. When finished, set the fork back into the saddle. You need to return to the fork area to resecure fork retaining devices. Make sure the pin that holds the fork to the boom is securely in place. Retainers prevent the tine from falling off the end. Fork security is crucial. See that the safety strap is secure. A loose fork can be dangerous when the truck is moving through traffic. You should now stow the outrigger. The pre-trip equipment check is complete. Make notes of any differences between the condition of the truck and crane as it appears on the DVIR form and what your inspection found. If no defects are found, sign and date the form. If your inspection determines that defects are preventing safe operation of the vehicle, the truck should immediately be taken out of service and arrangements for repairs made. These items include, but are not limited to, brakes, steering or tires, clearance lights, directional lights, stop lights, marker lights, horn, mirrors, windshield wipers, mud flaps, and seat belts. Load securement is the final inspection necessary after the truck is loaded and ready to depart. Take a final count on the load to ensure accuracy. The person counting should also make a visual check of the load to make sure products are properly secured. Do a final walk around of the vehicle to be sure everyone will be safe when you leave. Use the 3-point rule to climb into the cab. Buckle your seat belts. Driver and helper should take another look at the area around the truck and check mirrors to be certain no one has moved into the area around the vehicle. If you need to back up, tap the horn and be sure to use a spotter. It is good practice to tap the horn before moving the vehicle. Always observe good driving habits, including never exceeding the speed limit. One word of caution: only employees should be permitted in the cab. A third passenger is allowed only if the vehicle is equipped with an original government-approved jump seat. Under no conditions can a temporary seat, such as a pail or box, be used. This is against DOT regulations. Arriving on the job site, your priority is to safely unload the product. Place it where it is accessible and easy to manage, and leave the area in the same or better condition than when you arrived. Whether on a commercial or residential job site, it's important to learn how to perform a site inspection, position the vehicle, establish a safety zone, set up the crane and prepare the products for offloading, and do it safely. Safe job site unloading requires that you find a safe place to park your vehicle until you can inspect the load delivery area. As you approach the location, the crew should safely park the truck and walk to the delivery area. Park with the parking brake on. Turn on the four-ways and shut down the engine. Make sure the roadway is clear. Use the three-point rule as you get out of the cab and make sure you're wearing the required personal protection equipment. Remember that hard hats are always required on a construction job site. Take your keys and lock the doors. Place the wheel chocks and set orange warning cones to the rear and front of the vehicle. Your pre-delivery job site inspection form must be completed before the delivery vehicle enters the job site. During the inspection, you should also inspect the path that will be traveled to the setup position. Both driver and helper should make this inspection together. Know any hazards, obstructions, and challenging road conditions. Keep a heads up for permanent or temporary power lines. Be certain the sky is clear of any obstacles for unloading or leaving the site. Check for obstructions on the ground like sprinkler heads. Some can be identified by pipes sticking out of the ground. Others are concealed and only noticeable by very green grass in a circular shape. Watch for utility hookups, power lines, ditches, and signs of excavation. In residential areas, power lines create a web of potential hazards. Be alert to their presence and avoid them. We will talk more about power lines later. A pre-delivery safety checklist should be used to inspect the work area, the job site, and where you intend to operate the crane. Determine the best place to park the truck, a place that's safe and within easy reach of the delivery zone. All cranes require a solid, level, supporting surface. Do not set outriggers on uneven soil or hills. Don't bridge a hole with cribbing. Soil could give way or cribbing could break. Check for voids like septic systems. Watch for excavation, like basements. See manual for other cautions. For positioning, when working near an excavation site, a good rule of thumb is to use the 1-to-1 rule. For every 1 foot down, stay 1 foot back. Use common sense. Be aware of other work crews in the area. Be alert to their safety. Inspect the ground for any underground utility lines. As much as possible, be sure the area has been evaluated for additional digging hazards. Be alert to high wind conditions, storms, and other weather issues that can challenge a safe delivery. Remember that high wind conditions will create unstable load lifts and unsafe work conditions. Look above you in the area where you intend to park and see if any power lines, permanent or temporary to the work site, present a hazard. Occupational Safety and Health Association, OSHA, policy requires 10 or more feet between any part of the crane, load line, or load. This distance will vary depending upon voltage. It is unlawful to operate the machine or place boom, line, or load within 10 feet plus 2 times line insulator length of any electric line or its support. The safest course is to treat any line as live and dangerous. Always have a spotter assist when moving into the site and positioning the truck. Note, residential sites have some unique challenges. Maneuvering space can be especially tight for large trucks. Once parked, place wheel chocks and begin setup for work. Establish a safety zone with strobes, cones, and caution tape. This safety zone is especially important in a residential area. Curious adults, children, and pets must be kept away. Keep in mind that setting the outrigger is one of the most important jobs you do and should be done according to manufacturer recommendations. If not done properly, serious accidents can occur. Always use factory-supplied footing pads, no matter what the surface. See Operations Manual for cribbing under outriggers when necessary. With the PTO engaged and hydraulic systems ready, extend out and lower the driver's side outrigger first. Be sure to attach the outrigger pad. If equipped with a slide-on design, be sure the open side faces the crane to ensure crane stability. Place the pad shoe claws out so that settling action keeps the shoe tight. Set the footing down and make sure it's on solid ground. Consider the front wheels as outrigger stabilizers. While deploying outriggers, watch for bulging in the front tires. Bulge reduction indicates weight has been taken off the tires. Caution: never lift front tires off the ground. If you have a tag axle, it should be in the raised position for crane operations. Now repeat on the passenger side. Fully extend the outrigger. Set down on firm ground and check ballooning in the wheels. Remove tie-down straps. Now you can release the fork tie-downs, strap and pin restraint, and begin to prepare products for offloading. Before unloading, recheck to ensure you've established a safe work zone, including keeping contractors, employees, property owners, and passers-by out of harm's way. Keep in mind that you should never unload a fork assembly over the cab of the truck. You may place yourself and others in serious danger when incorrectly unloading. The crane operator presents product to the helper who is positioned at the delivery area to receive the product. Never allow people under the boom while in operation. Never boom loads over people or occupied construction trailers or buildings. Never carry items in your hand while climbing a ladder. Remember the 3-point rule. Satisfied the product is properly placed and the job site clean, return the fork to its cradle, an operation we will discuss in our next video unit. Properly reload and secure all equipment, such as dollies and carts, to be sure they will not work loose during transport. Secure the fork restraining devices, strap and restraining pin. Bring in the outriggers. Be neat at cleanup. Take care to prevent damage to landscaping when possible. Leave the job site in better condition than when you found it. Customers will notice. Be careful when exiting the work area. Remember that job sites are always changing. While you were unloading, new vehicles or new obstructions may have moved into the job site. Make a visual assessment of the site. Check again for power lines as you scan your exit route. Check for people around your vehicle before moving. Honk your horn. And use a spotter when backing out of the site. Note, after leaving a rough terrain job site, it may be necessary to relieve twisting tensions in the boom and boom support structures. This is accomplished by lifting the boom and resetting it in the saddle. This should be done on level ground and before roadway use. Whether you are working with an A